It is Tuesday, August 31st. I just got back. Well, not just. I got back a couple hours ago. Fortunately, I didn't have any clients scheduled this morning, so I was able to extend my trip a little longer. But I guess update. The last video that I posted was the video where I'm extremely emotional and I'm like, I don't feel this trigger anymore. It was, I don't even remember which chapter. It's chapter 24. Episode. It's the one where I'm like, I'm not gonna post supposedly, and not wanting to feel like this anymore. Chapter 24, episode 5, and I forgot to schedule the other video. So in that video I talk about not wanting to post for like a while, supposedly like 2 months. So I forgot to schedule the other ones. So that one was posted the 28th, which was like 3 days ago, and I haven't posted since. So I'm working on the one that's scheduled for tomorrow morning. But coincidentally, right? It's funny how things unfold. So these last few MJ morning message readings is talking about like, don't give up, keep going. I'm just like, a coincidence? or is my energy affecting, right? And it continues. Christina Lopes came out with another video on healing. So I included that one on the video that I'm posting tonight, right? Because it's still in that same theme. I thought that was funny. But this weekend was perfect. Every moment was perfect. I was able to connect with family, got to see everyone at least once for a little bit, and experience them in a different way. And coincidentally, the video that I am scheduling a post for tomorrow, September 1st, I'm talking about this loved one. That loved one is my dad. And how in that moment I was being triggered by him, and because there's this level of frustration, there's this level of like, just frustration when the person that you care about is hurting, and you have answers, but they choose to not listen, or they choose to, they have a right to choose how they want to live their life. So it hurts, right? It hurts to watch people you care about hurting. And so so I talk about him in this video, which is a completely different experience than what I had a couple days ago when I went to go see him, which it was a lovely moment. And I shared with him why I wanted, it was a surprise visit. He was so grateful, and we just sat and we talked about music. I mentioned to him that I looked up my parents, both him and my mom's Chiron, at the wound that they came to this earth to heal, and he was interested. Once I shared about my mom's, he was just like, that makes sense. And then he wanted, and at first he didn't want to hear about his, but then after he's like, tell me about mine. And then when I told him, it made sense to him, and there was just this nice feeling of like I was able to shed light as to a part of his life that he probably wondered why, and helping connect the dots. So it was lovely to have this great conversation with him. And in that process, I'm seeing how, because of our interactions, and he said it's because of you and because of so and so, like he's naming these people that have transformed his life, and how he now is helping other people within his ability, right, within his circle of friends and acquaintances, and how he is helping them. And I continue to stress the importance of people and their value and their worth, and this fire that they have within, and the power that they have to impact other people's lives. And I'm seeing this ripple effect like extend beyond me, and I'm just enchanted with the story. I mean, Dad's a great storyteller, and I'm enchanted with his story, and feeling at peace, like he's getting it, like okay, right? Like, God and universe is putting people in his path to continue to remind him how purposeful his life is, despite the hardships that he's lived, oh, neighbors. But anyway, so I wasn't triggered. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I noticed, is like I'm healing slowly, right? Many people in my life, people who trigger me, and it's nice to not feel triggered. On another note, I'm still working on the way back from LA, because my dad right now is living in LA. I was stuck in traffic, and I actually listened to this acquaintance friends. There was an interview with him, and I listened to him, and there was this light bulb, because on the way to my dad's, I was thinking about birth charts, and I'm like, how can I translate birth charts in a way that's less intimidating, less fearful, maybe take away the zodiac piece of it, because that's what freaks people out, and or at least the people that aren't open to that, and mainstream society, right? Like even with mental health, right? Because I'm trying to find a way to incorporate it in mental health where it's not this I'm imposing my beliefs, but more so using this as a guide, as a tool that's neutral. And I'm racking my brain. I'm like, okay, what are people comfortable with? They're comfortable with letters, with numbers, with symbols, right? But neutral symbols. And I'm racking my brain. I'm trying to figure it out, because I'm seeing clients now, and they're sharing their stories, and I'm just like, oh, if only I could find a way to like introduce this tool, shed light in a certain way, and have it resonate for them, where they can feel more of a resolution within themselves and feel more aligned, really. And so anyways, driving home, instead of listening to my music and singing my little heart out like I usually do in traffic or blowing bubbles, I decided to listen to this interview. And I'm blown away, because this new friend, acquaintance, one of the many roles he has is a translator. Not a language translator, but a translator of concepts, and being able to take information and then translate it in a way that is understandable. So I was like super excited, and I'm like, I need to ask him, one, what his views are, and two, would he be able to help me translate this information in a way that's digestible for use in healing, without having to title it a birth chart, or without having to look at zodiac signs, but really beyond the label, right? Because I was explaining it to another loved one that I hung out with this weekend. I was explaining to her a birth chart, like I've been meaning to do birth charts for the kids and close loved ones, and I did a quick overview on hers, and we were talking about some of her gifts that she doesn't feel like they're gifts because they're scary for her. So I'm just explaining stuff to her, and it's making sense, and she's embracing this fear. And again, it's just how the information is interpreted, how the information is transferred over and shared, right? In a way that's not an extreme, but just a balanced way. and the more I keep sharing, the more it resonates, the more people feel like, okay, it makes sense. So I'm hoping that this new acquaintance friend will be able, is the missing piece, is the missing piece that I'm needing to really get this in motion. And so I reached out to him and invited him for our paths to cross purposefully this week. So we're gonna meet on Thursday, so I'm really excited because I miss his voice too. And on the drive home, I actually purchased his audiobook I purchased his audiobook. He gave me a soft copy of it, and I was so grateful. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna be driving for like 7 hours. But how am I gonna use my time, right? And I wanted to go through that book that he sent me, so I purchased the audiobook, and I listened. I missed his voice too. I like his voice. But I'll include a link, maybe, to his book, or maybe not. I don't know. I guess I should ask for his permission first. Maybe. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Just because he's on Wikipedia. I told him, like, you're on Wikipedia. I emailed him that, and then I said, I grew up being told to not believe everything you read on the internet. And then I put, I'm glad I have access to the source of the truth. And then I was honest, I'm like, I didn't read much about what's posted, because I figured I'd find out with time, right? As I got to know him a little bit more. And I'm like, clearly you haven't given me the boot yet in terms of not interacting with you. And clearly I've taken it upon myself to email you a lot. And so, yeah. So I'm excited to go see him. And yeah, I just want an update on that. I'm racking my brain on this birth chart stuff. I need to make the time to check the class out, and yeah, so got a lot of stuff to do. I'm excited. I'm glad to be home. Like, and that was one thing too. I as much as I enjoyed visiting family and having that spontaneous trip back, I was eager to come back and come back home, and like I've made it cozy, and it's a small cozy space, but I love it, and I'm happy here. So that's all. Alright. Okay, so good one. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.